What's happening? Time for our third video of cigar chat, hanging out. We normally do this at like 3 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
But today we got together super early in the morning. We did some reviews. Yeah. We're gonna hang out now, have some drams, and smoke these Cohiba Siglo 6s.
Beautiful Siglo 6 from the Linea 1492 line.
Yeah, these are kind of, you know, this. If you go Cohiba, and you say what's like the Mercedes-Benz of Cohibas, you know, this is it. The Siglo 6. You know, if you talk to like the OG cigar guys, that's the one they mention, the Siglo 6. Obviously, there's special edition ones and fancier ones. The Behikes are like the Bentleys, but you know, these are the Mercedes-Benzes of Cohibas. Right. Cohiba being the most popular and, you know, highest end brand.
These days, it's like impossible now to get Behikes, so these you can pretty much get whenever you want. It's almost like the top of the standard range, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think a Behikes is limited edition, basically. Even though technically it's not edición limitada.
Sure.
But how it goes. Just cut this bad boy. There you go.
This is a crazy cigar cutter.
Got one reading.
Mike got 2 of them. He got me one as well. It's from Spain, right?
Yes.
It's literally just like snap it.
It's like a friggin' mechanics tool. It's nuts. Got it.
Awesome.
Squeeze it out. You good?
Yeah. Good. You want that? There you go.
Awesome.
So yeah, we got some drams on deck. What do we got? You guys, I'm sure, are going to want to know what whiskeys we have. We have a Parker's 11 2017 bottling.
Oh yeah, very special.
Definitely enjoy bourbons with cigars. It really hits the spot.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah. Michter's 20. I know. Not supposed to pair Michter's 20 with a cigar, but it was recently my birthday, so we're drinking special stuff. We're always drinking special stuff. I always come up with an excuse to. Macallan 8 Rinaldi. We have a bottle of Macallan Rare Cask. We have a bottle of Macallan 18. We have 2 bottles of Old Forester Birthday Bourbon 2018 and 2019, and some King of Kentucky over here. I don't, you know, whatever we're gonna dip into, we're gonna dip into. You know, I'm not sure, but just wanted to have the options during the video, whatever we're feeling. I have 2 drams, been breathing here for a while.
Tough. Go into bourbons, period. But both of us, man, we just been, part of it's the modern, little segue, the modern sherried Scotch offerings, but just in general with the summer, man, been finding it hard to reach for a sherried Scotch.
Yeah.
Even though we both obviously always love it.
Yeah, I mean, some of our very, very favorite Scotches are sherried, and the biggest part of our collection is sherried Scotches. But I find that like a first fill, like heavy duty sherry whiskey, when the weather here in Southern California is hitting like 90 degrees, it becomes very...
And the humidity.
And we've been getting a little humidity. We don't normally get humidity, but we've been having some humidity here lately. And just has not really, you know, doesn't really hit the spot in the summertime. The heavily first fill sherry kind of stuff that tends to hit more in the spot during Christmas time. During the holidays,
Christmas cake, Thanksgiving spices. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm curious. You know, I'm sure you guys feel. A lot of you guys will feel similarly about that. That like that heavy style sherry doesn't really hit the spot in the summer. I've really been enjoying more lighter whiskeys. Loving the, like, you know, couple examples would be like the Daft Mill and Bourbon Aged Kilkerran.
This hits the spot in the summer.
Bourbons is almost like, you know, that's been more our replacement for sherry, I guess, the more darker flavors, but it's bourbon, obviously. It's not sherry.
Daft Mill's a perfect one.
Yeah, Daft Mill is a beautiful summer whiskey, and just enjoying like a Talisker 18 or like some, you know, some Lafroig, or, you know, more whiskeys like that have been really hitting the spot in the summertime.
I'm sure you guys find the same thing. I've been seeing crazy heat waves all around America, all around the world recently. Humidity too.
finally got the cigar lit. Issue is that we got a little wind over here. It's not a lot of wind, but enough wind where it's very difficult. Our torch went out. We got a nice new torch coming, but we didn't have a replacement, and we didn't have anything to fill it with, so had to stick with matches. And when it's a little bit windy,
Yeah.
forget about it. It gets really
I
tough.
still by far prefer match. Light the match, let the wood burn like almost midway to light a cigar, but obviously you gotta do that almost indoors with the wind. It's impossible sometimes.
Mike, we were discussing yesterday what are the best sherry scotches right now. It used to be such an easy question to answer, right? Macallan, Glendronach, those were like such standouts. It was so easy. Well, number one, Macallan was just so easy to say before, right?
Macallan's the game.
But between Macallan, Glendronach, and then Glengoyne started putting out some really, really good sherry.
Sure.
It was kind of easy to be like, hey, I'm looking for a sherry scotch. Go buy Macallan, Glendronach, Glengoyne, Aberlour. It just was kind of easy to know which direction to kind of go. I think about that now, and Macallan is not the same. Glendronach is starting to not be the same. The recent releases of Glengoyne aren't as good ever since they changed the bottling. It's still good, but it's not as good. So when I'm thinking of sherry scotches I look forward to, I just kind of get stuck. I don't really like get too excited. But if I had to pick certain sherry scotches to pay attention to right now,
Right.
I would definitely say Edredauer. Edredauer puts out a similar style of as close to a style as like old school Macallan as you're gonna get right now.
Yeah.
I do find it sometimes that it's overly sherried. There's not enough balance necessarily, but it does have you could tell it's been aged in very good quality sherry casks. So Edredauer is one. Naturally, Glen Alecky is one because Billy Walker took over and he's clearly sherry minded. I'm assuming he's investing a lot of money into quality casks, and I'm pretty sure he's re-racking some of the stock that they had into some first fill sherries because the new whiskeys all of a sudden, ever since he got there, completely changed and are much darker, and they're definitely better if what you're looking for is sherry.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say it's necessarily better, but it's better if you're looking for sherry.
Right. Like you said, very sherry minded.
Yeah.
And he pretty much took the Glendronach magic with him.
Yeah.
He used to have.
Well, I wonder if Glendronach spent all those years putting out their best of the best casks, and I'm wondering if what they have left. I'm curious to see. All I'm saying is I'm not saying Glendronach can't do it still.
Right.
All I'm saying is I'm seeing quality maybe drop a little bit. I'm not as excited about what they're going to put out.
Bland, they're doing what? They're chill filtering now, right?
They're chill filtering some of their whiskeys now, yes.
Yeah. And also I remember, I forget which video Ralphie was talking about where they're like a possible purchase target. Remember that? Purchase target by a massive conglomerate where the quality might go down as well. But anyway, the point is, if you're looking at Glendronach as a stock, you might want to be selling right now.
Yeah. I was very excited with Glengoyne. They put out a very good 25 and a very good 30.
The value for that was unreal.
Yeah, and the quality in the new 30 dropped significantly. And disappointing. The 25's still pretty okay, but the 30 dropped in quality significantly. So that worries me a little bit about, if it's still such an epic value.
Right.
Aaron put out a couple decent bottling. The Aaron 18, we reviewed it. We talked about it being one of the best values in the sherry game. But I haven't really seen, we recently tried a single cask from the Whiskey Exchange. It was almost overly sherried. Um, but I'm also kind of curious to see like what they're gonna do. But I don't really think of them as like, hey, this is the Sherry Monster Distillery. That's not what I think of when I think of Aaron. So, but the Aaron 18 was definitely very good. But I've heard the newer batches have not been as good. I just haven't tried them.
Right, like the newer
I haven't tried
Aaron
it yet.
18, yeah. And we haven't tried the Aaron 25 that came out a few months ago, which I've heard is awesome. So, to be fair.
I've heard mixed things about the 25, but more good than bad. But I've heard mixed.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think of other distilleries where I'm just like excited about what they're gonna do with sherry, and just I don't know, like the newer style of sherry. It's a long topic if you want to get into the history of sherry casks and why it's so different.
Right.
We always debate on whether we want to do that during a cigar chat because it's such a long kind of a topic, but I'll let you decide if you want to kind of get into it.
Just quickly, obviously the selection of casks, like especially look at Macallan right up here in front. The selection of casks that they have to choose from is nothing basically, versus what they had back in the day. Back in the day, the bodegas, they had the Solera casks, obviously, that are hundreds of years old, that they want to keep for themselves. They're not willing to sell. And they have all the other casks.
You want to explain what that means? Why they're several hundred years old?
Yeah. So basically the Solera, they combine younger and older casks into it, and they only draw a third of the Solera cask out at a time for bottling. So they're constantly blending older and newer sherries to get a nice balance. And because they've been aging so much, there's 0 tannins. So they're perfect for aging sherry. So there's no way the bodegas would ever sell the Solera casks to any Scotch distilleries. The other casks that, maybe matured 30-year-old sherry, 40-year-old sherry, 50-year-old sherry, they would sell. Those are the old transport casks that they would ship to the UK, aging sherry and then to be bottled. But in 1984, Spain passed a law that sherry had to be bottled in Spain. Could not be bottled in the UK. And that kind of killed the whole game. And then at that point, obviously the bodegas would not sell the Solera casks. What sherry casks could the Scotch distilleries buy? And then obviously bourbon. In America, having beautiful law, lobbied by the lumber industry, that bourbon has to be a brand new, newly charred American oak casks. The second the cask is done, you can't reuse it. Boom. Ships off right to Scotland. So obviously much cheaper. And now the only way to do really a sherry cask is, season it. Still, you have a minimum 2 years for sherry. And you season it with 2-year-old, not 30, 40, 50-year-old sherry, but 2-year-old sherry. Maybe you season it for 6 months to a year, and then boom, it's a sherry, like it says now, a sherry seasoned cask. It's just never gonna match the flavor profile that they used to have.
So imagine before 1984, they had these old sherry casks, and they were transporting them to the UK. Okay, so that's why they were called transport casks. So they were actually, back then in the UK, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were drinking a lot of sherry in the UK, so they were transporting these casks.
I was like #1 market for sherry, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big market for sherry, and they were transporting these casks that have, been really used up with good sherry, and they were just ideal to age whiskey in as well. So they're transporting them with sherry in it, and then they're aging whiskey in it after. So it was just kind of a win-win. They get their sherry, and in 84 when that law changed, the quality of casks, being able to get those amazing sherry casks changed, and that's why you hear us talk so much about wow, that old school style of sherry is just so epic. It's not only that it's just epic, it's just not gonna happen again.
Right.
So it just makes it even that much more special, right? You just know that flavor profile is gonna be so much harder to get, and that's why it's so special. But yeah, the Solera casks that that the bodegas, they would use them for hundreds of years.
It's crazy. And then also in Spain, after '84, in Spain versus the UK, not just the humidity, right? UK is humid, but the humidity and the heat, you have to use sulfur, which is actually an old Roman technique. It's amazing they can't invent a better technique, but you have to use sulfur to condition the cask, or else it will actually mold inside and you can't use it ever again. And that's the problem, where you now have a potential of having that sulfur, or whatever you want to call it, pencil shavings, gunpowder, rotten eggs, but
sulfur.
Some off-putting sulfur effects in these modern sherry seasoned or
Well, I think the best way
sherry finish casks.
the best way I could describe the worst sulfured cask is this is like this rotten, like a nasty cabbage, or like a rotten egg kind of
rotten
smell.
egg, exactly. But the point was, none of that existed, back in the day. I mean, imagine, like, back in the day, even if you got, a 15, 20-year-old matured sherry transport cask, right? Goes right to UK, they bottle the sherry, they turn around and give it to Macallan or whoever to use. It's going to be perfect.
So Macallan did a very good job of they gave him kind of a grace period, I believe, during during 84.
After 84 for transition.
So certain distilleries made sure they got their hands on as many good casks as possible. If I could think of a couple places that got amazing sherry casks, obviously Macallan, Gordon and MacPhail did, and so just to name a couple. Another way you can get nasty sulfur flavor and off-putting flavor in whiskey is if the yeast is bad. Yeast can be almost fruity like, and it could just be really nasty, sulfury, kind of yucky like as well. So the yeast that's made, if you're making your whiskey with care and paying attention and not mass producing, the yeast matters a lot, and it can really have a huge effect on the flavor of your whiskey. Mike, what'd you bring, Mike?
No, I'm just gonna highlight this. So we've already reviewed this. This is Macallan 1965 special selection, bottled in 1984, imported by Rinaldi, and this is 1965, coming out in 84, in the year the law changed, and it even says right here, for reasons not even science can wholly explain, whiskey has always matured best in oak casks that have contained sherry. Due to increasing expense and scarcity, other distillers no longer insist on sherry casks. And it basically says that the price, what does it say? Yeah, that the price is significantly higher for sherry casks. So even back then, Macallan had to pay significantly more to stick to the sherry cask. Let alone in that transition period, you can imagine it was just an absolute, bidding war for the last remaining matured sherry casks, possible transport casks.
This is nice.
Oh yeah, and obviously, you guys can research, as much as you want on it, but kind of at least gives an idea of the difference and why you can never repeat the sherry casks of old.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of people talking about the why sherry's not as good anymore and stuff, and sometimes it's good info, sometimes it's half accurate, half not.
Sure.
I don't know if there's a perfect answer. If I'm going to someone for sherry advice, I like Ruben from Whiskey Notes. He does sherry notes.
Yeah.
He's a sherry expert.
That's a good one.
That's the person I would ask if I was going to ask someone. But yeah, anyways, just kind of talking about sherry a little bit, just because we do. It's funny we say that, and it is summer, and we're sitting out here, and we do have sherried whiskey sitting out here, but it just kind of happened. It was just kind of the bottles that were laying around, and we just brought out. It wasn't like thought out. It was literally whatever bottles were right in front of us, we brought out.
So as we're saying that, with
Yeah.
that in mind, I'm gonna pour a Macallan 18 sherry oak cask, matured exclusively in hand-picked sherry seasoned oak casks from Jerez, Spain. So they season them, for what, 6 months in Jerez, Spain, and they ship them to Macallan, and just try with that in mind. Having earlier tried some older school sherry malts.
I'll say this. You get asked, like, what whiskey do I pair with a cigar? Like, which cigar goes well with which? I think it, and I don't think it matters that much. I honestly don't think it matters. Smoke a good cigar and drink a good whiskey, and it's going to be incredible together. But I will say that particular Macallan 18, I'm not a huge fan of, like, sitting down and like enjoying it like I used to with older Macallan 18s. But it pairs really well with the cigar because it's a little lighter.
It actually does.
It's a little bit lighter than the ones before. It's not as rich, and it allows the cigar to shine a little bit more. I know we got some heavy cask strength whiskeys out here. That's not ideally what you want to pair with a cigar, because it could just kind of make your palate very spicy.
It's actually perfect.
So Macallan 18 today actually pairs extremely well. It's a little bit lighter, 43% ABV, and if I'm gonna take full advantage of that particular bottle, I think with Cigar and Friends is kind of the way I would enjoy that.
And something about the cigar, normally our complaint is like it's just ginger and pencil shavings and stuff. Something about the cigar like kills that. It kills it. It like balances it and blocks it out, and then the fruits come out more. The sherry fruits come out more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're naturally...
You never know. You gotta try everything.
We're naturally a little harsher on Macallan just because we know how used to be the best. So it's we miss it. Everyone does, not just us. Everyone does. And then you see the prices go up, so then it makes you want to kind of bash them even more.
Hate on. Call us haters, if you will.
Yeah. You kind of. Anyways, another thing we were discussing was top five distilleries that we look forward to the most on what they're going to bring out in the next, let's say, 3 to 10 years. Okay, looking forward, let's say, just looking forward 3 to 10 years. Which distilleries are we the most excited to see? Like, oh, they just brought out a new bottling. I want to see what that is like. Yeah. Or what's this distillery going to taste like in 10 years?
Right. Like maybe a newer distillery. That needs
absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
Time
yeah.
to mature.
Yeah. I think number one for me, what I'm the most excited to see is Daft Mill. Not because I have a lot of experience, not because I've tried a bunch of Daft Mills, but the couple that I've tried were so unique. It was so like Springbank-like in terms of like old school-like, I should say, where it just seemed just small production. Yeah. You could clearly tell they're really paying attention to all the little steps. Waited till it was 12 years old and brought out just a fantastic, oily, fruity, coating mouthfeel, just a complete, really, really good whiskey. And I can't imagine like what it's going to be like when that whiskey is 18 years old and so on.
Yeah, just the finest, highest, top yield, top cut of the barley.
Yeah.
And then the yeast, like every quality.
The only issue is it's so expensive because they don't have a lot of bottlings. They're not always
They work
producing.
twice a year.
Yeah.
Seasonal operators.
So we'll see how that goes, but I'm super curious. Like, I can't even imagine like let's say like a bourbon, a first fill bourbon kind of mature 20-year-old whiskey is going to be like from them.
Like cask strength or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be unreal.
Yeah. So even the 46% 12-year-old was amazing, but $250 was a little too much.
Yeah, how much is that going to cost?
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully they have more.
Maybe they'll
bigger
start operating year round.
Yeah.
Scale up. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Another distillery I'm curious about is, of course, Glenallachie. Billy Walker went there. He's investing heavily in that distillery. He owns the distillery. And he's obviously has a plan, and I believe we're going to see some really good whiskeys coming out from them. And I'm very curious to see, continually see what he's going to be putting out. I can only imagine that it's just going to keep getting better and better in the near future.
Absolutely.
Just curious there. What else am I curious about?
Still Springbank.
Springbank. 100%.
Always Springbank.
Always Springbank. Springbank is one of those distilleries where it used to be our favorite and it still is our favorite. They were putting out amazing whiskey. They still are putting out very good whiskey. And every time I see a new 12, a new 21, a new 25, they're changing things up. Their local barley. They're doing a lot of nice things. Single casks. They're doing independent bottlers even. You just get to still see really good Springbank come out. And we reviewed a couple of them today. They were both amazing. And they were both recent releases. So I definitely Springbank is in there. I am always excited to see a new Springbank release.
Baby, yeah.
It's like a new Macallan release is coming out. It's like, okay, what kind of marketing thing is this? A new Springbank's coming out. What is it? What is it? I really want to know what it is.
Exactly.
So Springbank is 100% still there in the top 5.
Yep.
For sure. How you liking the cigar?
Or New Macallan, how much?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's I would say like the smoothness and creaminess of the Escondido, if you ever had a Cohiba Escondido, but a little stronger, a little bolder, a little earthier. Tiny bit, like I said, light spice, like white pepper, maybe even pink pepper, but none of that black pepper, overpowering pepper. But beautiful, beautiful cigar. Great balance.
Amazing.
How about you?
Yeah, I absolutely adore it. I'm enjoying. I've only had it once before, and
Same here.
And I am enjoying it more now.
Sick.
Yeah, the draw on it is a little extra tight. How's your draw?
Perfect.
A cigar feels a little.
It's not like super loose, but it's perfect.
Yeah, this one's a little tight. This one's a little tight, but it's okay. It's amazing. I'm not kind of having to puff hard on it. Oh yeah, I can see yours is puffing strong.
Yeah, maybe it's a shitty light.
Yeah, if you watch mine.
Oh yeah. Perhaps maybe shift some of our whiskey budget to torch lighter.
No, it's lit perfectly. It's just
Really?
tight. If you touch it, it's like rock hard.
It's tight. Every cigar is different,
Every cigar's
especially with
a little
Cubans.
different.
Yeah.
The risk of when a cigar's a little tight is that you puff really, really hard. You inhale, and
True.
you can get a little sick from that. So it's a little tip. Don't puff too hard.
Yes, sir. What else?
What else? Kill Omen.
Kill Homan.
I enjoy their whiskeys, that Isla style that's not super peated, and I am curious to see what that will taste like as like an 18 or 20-year-old as well. Can't help. And from
you
my
imagine?
experience with them, I have definitely enjoyed just kind of their like straight bourbon matured whiskeys a little
Right.
more than their sherry ones.
Yeah, like more. How do you say it? Bashir Bay
Yeah,
versus Sandig. Exactly.
correct.
Yeah, like even the Loch Gorm, I still prefer the Bashir Bay and the bourbon matured ones. But yeah, imagine with the beautiful peat, the beautiful Isla barley, just more age, more of those tropical bourbon fruits coming out.
Yeah.
Could be nuts.
Yeah, and then if I had to pick another one, the Glengyle,
Of course, Glengyle.
Kilkerran is putting out unique whiskeys. I'm gonna say
Always.
the 12-year-old Kilkerran, that gets praised by Roy. That's actually the reason why we tried the bottle. He claims that that's like the best value whiskey out there, and after trying it, I agree. Especially if you get UK price.
Absolutely.
UK price was like $40-45
Absolutely.
for a 12-year-old gorgeous whiskey, easily the best value. Here it's $80, so it's more, but still, it is an excellent whiskey. You take that 12-year-old, and then you take that first release of the 8-year-old sherry.
Oh my God!
It showed you how like they could produce a really amazing sherried whiskey, and they could produce a excellent bourbon matured whiskey at 12 and 8 years old. So
Yeah.
how do those whiskeys taste, at a higher age? And I've tried ones at a higher age, both sherry and bourbon, excellent. And that's definitely a distillery where I'm excited to see.
Got to keep your eye on it.
Got to keep your eye on it.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, this is not a list of our favorite
Pretty much
distilleries.
anything they put out.
Yeah, it's not a list of our favorite distilleries, but more like the most curious distilleries. I don't even know what my top 5 current favorite distilleries are. I don't even know how to put that list together.
It changes
In
every
our-
year.
Yeah, in our last cigar chat,
It really does.
we did our of all time
Right.
list. That I could do. I could do a top 5 probably. But right now, if you're going independent bottlers, Klein Leash is in there for sure.
Absolutely.
If you're going independent bottlers, Kolila's probably in there, but
Yep.
Springbank's in there. But yeah, it's one of those where, in order for me to put a top 5 list today, I would have to include independent bottlers, because from standard range, I just don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Just too much variation year to year.
Yeah, I just wouldn't know what to do. Everything constantly changes.
Absolutely.
What a cigar.
What a cigar.
It is. It's got the earth. It's got that vanilla cream. It's, for those who think cigars are sometimes too harsh, maybe, you're not getting any kind of harsh, rough, spicy pepperiness. It's just delicious.
And not that you do in Bejique, but you know what? This is almost like between Escondido and Bejique. A little bit.
Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Absolute gorgino. Anything else we want? Oh, you brought out the fancy tumbler.
We switched to the Baccarat tumbler a little bit for this very special Parker's Heritage 11-year-old single barrel release, different single barrels for 2017, 122 proof. And this is special because unfortunately it was the year dedicated to Parker Beam, the master distiller, passing away unfortunately of ALS after a 7-year battle, and some of the proceeds do go to ALS Foundation. But yeah, 11 years was Parker Beam's favorite age for bourbon, and it comes from his favorite rickhouse location, Deedsville, and it is. It's just a rickhouse bog. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah, your cigar is definitely puffing harder than mine. Look.
Damn. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Disappearing.
I don't know how Mike does it, and I know I've brought this up probably in the last couple of cigar chats too. He fasts till nighttime, and he's able to. We started at 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's what, 5 o'clock
Pretty
right
good.
now?
Pretty good today. Yeah.
5:30, and we did reviews, some videos, and he's able to do this on just black coffee and water. He's able to dram, smoke a full cigar. If I did that, I'd be in the bathroom puking all night. That's crazy. Like, you build your body to be able to do that.
Conditioning. I did eat a lot. I mean,
And I'm the one that
eat a lot at
introduced him to
night.
intermittent fasting, but he took it to the next level.
Yeah, I do eat a lot at night, but yeah, who knows?
What are we're gonna watch
Survival.
I don't even know what it's called. I know it's about
Pappy Heist.
Pappy Heist.
The Pappy Heist tonight. Yeah.
But that's part of a heist show, right? And then a couple of the episodes are about Pappy. Is that what it is?
I think so. Netflix. Yeah. They're pretty interesting.
So we'll watch that.
When was that? I can't remember. A few years ago, right?
It came out yesterday. It came
No,
out.
but when was the heist?
There's been a couple, no?
I can't remember.
There's 2 episodes. I think there's. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on any other.
Got it.
Scotch stuff, you know, you can go after me, but bourbon stuff, I
And
don't know.
where are those bottles now? Where are those pappies now?
I don't know.
Secondary
Mike's
market?
house, Narby's house.
Yeah. Exactly. Something like this, the 61%, the tumbler, is definitely perfect for it. Takes away any little bit of excessive ethanol. It's perfect.
Tumblers are definitely. I know they're looked down upon. Obviously, it's not an ideal nosing glass, but and they're looked down on for that reason. But there's definitely a place for tumblers.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely a place for tumblers, and they can be underrated, especially when you have like a really nice fine crystal, like heavy, nice glass like this.
Yeah.
There's something enjoyable about
It is
holding it.
something.
Look at the environment we're in right now. We're outside. There's flowers. You're growing herbs back here, and we're smoking cigars. I'm seeing, this little wind blowing. You're not nosing out here, It's just really nice to hold a nice tumbler and drink something decent without analyzing it. You're not going to be able to overanalyze it anyways because you're smoking a cigar.
We're not in a crazy master class.
Yeah, exactly.
In the PhD,
So it's really
so
just enjoyable
enjoyment,
and social, and you can nose out of it too, of course. And there's a place for it, and I really, really enjoy, especially if I'm having a bourbon, which tends to not be as complex as Scotch. To just
Right.
enjoy it out of a thing.
yeah, it's perfect for it.
All right, I'm gonna have I really, as you guys know, enjoy chocolate. What do we
yes,
have
sir.
here? Trader Joe's Uganda 85% dark chocolate. Dark tends to really work well. There's not too much sugar, not too much creaminess. It's just it tends to just cleanse it. The power well, it works really well.
It's perfect. And that
With
that
cigar.
one that one doesn't eat too dark.
No,
It's 85%. Speaking of transport casks,
VAC 8 Rinaldi.
yes sir.
I think this one was bottled in like 81, 82.
Yeah, like 81, 82, around when we were born.
Wow, it's fun to pour.
Oh yeah. And the beautiful old plastic screw cap, frowned upon, but nothing is better.
Mike, did we do a review or a bottle
we did.
open?
We reviewed it.
We
Yeah.
reviewed it.
Yeah. And that one for old school sherry is perfect with cigar.
Look at that thing.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Transport cast, baby. Yeah, we reviewed it. It's perfect.
Oh man, I don't think anything gets more enjoyable than just hanging out outside, smoking a cigar, having a nice whiskey, chatting up. I don't know, not much beats this. This is so gorgeous.
Summertime, baby.
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly.
Yeah, we are in Oxnard, so that ocean breeze kicks in a little bit, no matter what the season is. But still very nice, perfect.
All right, you guys, anything else we want to bring up, Mike? Wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
All right. Literally just a couple things we chatted about before, random things, not really planned out. Because you guys are kind of now, this is the third video. If you guys are familiar with these and kind of notice the topics that we've talked about, feel free to drop some ideas of topics
course.
that you guys want us to discuss in the future, and we'll definitely consider some of the topics. Today's was just really just kind of like last minute, like whatever. Let's just talk about whatever we were literally talking about like an hour ago.
Yeah, and we do want to experiment in the future with maybe like doing a live cigar chat, where
Yes.
you got like an interactive conversation, interactive topic. Just time is limited, haven't gotten around to it, but same thing. Yeah, give us ideas what you want to talk about, what you guys are looking at, researching, interested in, and maybe we'll do a live conversation where we could all get into it.
That Mac 8.
It's nuts. I'm telling you, man.
Oh.
Last time I compared the Mac 65 to the 8 blind. I preferred the 8, man.
Well, this thing's been breathing. This is almost borderline might start flattening out a little bit, maybe.
It wasn't flat.
Okay.
Just the 8 was better, man.
8's bomb.
It just those old casks, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, old Mac, and that's how it got the name, the reputation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Mikey. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers,
Slange.
guys.